Okay, so hello everybody. I'm going to try to show you how to do this stuff with the two-way frequency tables again. I'm going to show it to you on this computer so that you can fast forward if you get it, stop if you need help, kind of, whatever, set at your own pace. But this is going to help with the homework problem that I've given you to do that's due tomorrow at midnight. So, or due Wednesday. So today's Tuesday. So let me try to share a screen and let me show you what we're doing. And here we go. Okay, so I have here two-way frequency tables. It says, my very first problem says a survey of a classroom asked the 27 students if they prefer pizza or hamburgers for lunch. There were 13 girls, 5 of whom said they would prefer hamburgers. 8 boys said that they prefer pizza. And so now I've got this table already set up with the headings. The columns are labeled, the rows are labeled. And so this is easy at this point. I can just kind of fill in information. I'm not going to have enough to fill in the whole table just yet, but I'm going to take the information they give me and fill out what I can, and then I'll go back and use math to figure out the rest of them. So this says, the very first thing says, a survey of a classroom asked the 27 students if they prefer pizza or hamburgers for lunch. So I know that we're talking about 27 students total. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put the number 27 to show that that's the total number of students, boys, girls, pizza, hamburgers, doesn't matter. You're asking 27 kids. Then it says there were 13 girls, 5 of whom said that they would prefer hamburgers. So I know that there's a total of 13 girls. And I know those 13 girls it makes no difference whether they want hamburger or pizzas. It's 13 total. So I've got 13 total here. And then it says 5 of them prefer hamburgers. So I can go up here and I can put a 5, and I've got 2 pieces of information there. Now, the additional thing says here that 8 boys said that they prefer pizza. So notice that this gives me 2 things in one sentence. It says here, let me highlight this, 8, actually let me highlight this. It says boys right here, and it says at the same time pizza. So this is important because when we talk about things in math, 2 things happening at the same time, that's an important thing. So I now know I have a very specific spot on this thing, on this frequency table to put the number 8. 8 boys and pizza at the same time. So the 8 is going to go right here. Okay. So this is the information that I've been given straight from the table, but I have to complete the whole table. So what I'm looking for is, let me show you this real quick. This entire row, which is now blinking red for some reason, this whole row is related. These 2 columns, the numbers in those 2 columns are going to add up to give me the third. When I go to the second row, same relationship. I've got this and this, these 2 cells together are going to add up to give me this one. Likewise, this down here is going to have that same relationship. This cell or box plus this one will equal this one. Okay, that's important because that's where I'm going to get all of my information from. At the same time, I have a relationship in the columns. This box and this box together will add up to give me this one. And this one plus this one add up to give me this one. And this one plus this one add up to give me this one. So I've got these addition problems going on. So I need in every single row or every single column that I'm going to do math, I have to have 2 numbers. Otherwise, I don't know what to do. See, like if I look at this column over here, I've got 27, but I don't know what that 27 means. I don't know how to break it up yet. I'll figure it out. But if I look, this row has only 1 number. This row only has 1 number, but this last row, I have 2 numbers in it. So I can now do some math. I know that 13 plus something is going to give me 27. So I'm going to go back here. It's already red, so that's perfect. So I'm going to do 13 plus 14 gives me 27. So I'm off to a good start. So now let me go back and figure out some other places I can do math. Let's see. On this column, I have some number plus 5 gives me 13. So I know that this number has to be 8. When I look at this second column, I have 8 plus some number gives me 14. So I know that this has to be 6. Now I'm going to go to this last column that I couldn't do a second ago, but now I can do because I know that this row, these two numbers add up to give me this one. 8 plus 8 has to be 16. And this row, 5 plus 6, has to be 11. And when I double check, 16 plus 11 adds up to 27. So all of this is like one big happy relationship. They all work out together. Okay, so that's the first one. Now, let me show you the second one. The second one looks a little bit more intense because there's nothing, okay, sorry. School offered 23 apps for students to use to help with homework. 9 of the apps are for iPads and the rest are for Chromebooks. Now, these things are already labeled, but I need you to understand that if they weren't labeled, I could do the iPads and Chromebooks, I could put them over here. I could put the reading and the math up here. That's not important. What is important is that the last column is always a total and the last row is always a total. Because when we add up numbers, we typically go from left to right. And when we're adding in a vertical fashion, we typically go down to add up. So we're trying to maintain that. So this is, excuse me, I have here, it says a school offered 23 apps for students to use to help with homework. So again, I've got like this total number going on. I know that it's 23 apps total. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put in my number 23. Then it says 9 of the apps are for iPads and the rest are for Chromebooks. So I don't know much at all other than I've got 9 iPad apps. It doesn't, the rest are Chromebooks, doesn't tell me what the number is. I can figure that out in just a second though. Also says 7 of the apps are for reading and the rest are for math. So same problem. I know that I've got 7 here for reading, but I don't know what the math is, but I can figure that out. So I'm going to go into this box here and I'm going to choose a different color. I'm going into this last row because this last row has 2 pieces of information. Oh, I skipped one. Let me go back. I skipped a sentence. Sorry. So that says 7 of the apps are for reading, the rest are for math. This very last one says 2 of the reading apps can be used for students on their iPads. So if I go to this row that represents all of the reading apps, I know that 2 of them are used for iPads. So this is again that same thing where I've got reading happening and I have iPads happening. So I have 2 pieces of information going to one number. So I can put in that box where those 2 things meet, reading and iPads meet right there. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put, I'm going to use red again. Sorry, I'm not going to use red. What is wrong with me? I'm going to use 2, put 2 here. Now I'm going to do some math. And so I'm going to do the math in red so that you can kind of see what's happening. I can go row by row, column by column, but I have to have 2 pieces of information to find the third. So if I look at this very first row, I know these 2 numbers add up to give me 7. So I know that this right here has to be a 5, and I'm going to do this in red. I finally get to use that red. Okay, good. Second row has no information, so I can't do anything with it yet. But when I look at that last row, I've got 9 plus some number gives me 23. So I know that this has to be 14. Dang it, I wanted it to be red. So let me make that red. Okay. All right, so now in each column, I have 2 numbers so I can figure out the third. So let me just go one at a time. 2 plus some number gives me 9. I know that this has to be 7. Here, 5 plus some number gives me 14. I know that this has to be 9. And in my last column, 7 plus some number gives me 23. So I know that this has to be 16. And I'm going to double check that this whole row adds up and makes sense. 7 plus 9, 7 plus 9 does give me 16. I'm happy. 2 plus 5, of course, was 7. 9 plus 14 is 23. So I'm just double checking that they all make sense. Sometimes you're off, you'll make a mistake, and you can check it. It's, because it's all kind of self-checking. So that's how you do these things, these frequency tables. So I'm hoping that this makes sense to you and you get it. And so I've assigned one that's going to be attached to this video that's going to be in Google Classroom, and it will be due tomorrow at midnight, tomorrow from today, meaning Wednesday, because today is Tuesday, correct? Okay, and so hopefully you'll get it. You just type into that document and I'll check it and see if you got it. So I will see you guys in 2 days, and take care. Turn this off and end this meeting.